It's lots of fun to dream about moving someplace beautiful like the Sunshine Coast, but you have to be prepared for what actually happens when you arrive. Sometimes it's a little bit of a transition, especially if you're moving a long distance like we were and we didn't really know anybody. It's a little bit isolating and you need to make new friends and have a new support system and all the rest. And I don't know that we were prepared for really how lonely we would be for the first 6 months or the first year.
Yeah, we actually just did a job up coast this week, and we were reminded of that, what it was like to move here. So yeah, we moved from Edmonton to the Sunshine Coast quite a few years ago now, 8 years ago or something like that. Anyways, something I had never moved really much. Like, yeah, you move to go to college or whatever, but you're automatically going to make friends in college. But anyway, so we move out here, whole new community, no friends, no relatives or anything. And yeah, I didn't realize that would be a bit of an adjustment to meet people and to try to meet people, and how, because we don't have an outside job necessarily. We were photographer, videographer, so we work from home and we go out and meet clients. But it took me like 6 months I found like a badminton drop-in group, and then by finding that group, I found some friends, and then slowly then you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm part of the community. But it took a bit of time.
And it's in that first 6 months or that first year, it's pretty tempting to say this, sucks and I don't want to be here. And I kind of just want to go back to, what I'm familiar with and the people that I know, where I have friends and a support system and close to family and all those types of things. But if you can get past that first little bit, you find that you do start to meet new people and make new friends and new connections. And then it's not really quite as lonely as it was when you first moved out.
So like for me, I think I got kind of like into the community. I felt like a little bit more comfortable a little bit sooner meeting friends. And then it took a little bit longer for you, like almost maybe a year and a half before you're like, okay, this is not so bad.
Like I'm fairly solitary. So I think Val felt the loneliness before I did, that I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of fine. It doesn't really bother me too much. I can still, phone or text or email or, messenger or whatever with people. So I didn't feel it too bad to begin with, but I think, yeah, you're more social than I am. So you really missed that, I think, pretty soon. And then it took probably closer to a year, I think, before I kind of was like, ugh, I'm not so sure how I feel about this. But fortunately for us, Val had kind of already been through it. That when she was down in the dumps, it hadn't really affected me yet. And I was like, oh, this is fine. You'll get over it. You'll make friends. And then when I got to that point, Val kind of had the same advice for me. So we could lean on each other in that point. But it's kind of just one of those things that you have to know that it's eventually going to work out and you're going to meet people, as long as you're putting yourself in a little bit of a position to meet people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like people's kids, it's probably a little bit easier because you're meeting at sports groups, school, obviously. So then you're meeting other parents in that way. But us, no kids, no pets. Like you don't go walk the dog and meet other people walking the dog. So, but yeah, when we went up coast and we did a job and these people had moved from Alberta like only 6 months ago and they're already listing to sell. And then after Paul and I were talking about it, and we don't know the ins and outs of why they were selling, but we're just like, oh, give it a try. It's only been 6 months. Like, don't sell yet. Like, stay longer. And then there's a lot of people who've moved here because of COVID. And so, during COVID, you went from urban to rural. So we've had a big influx of people coming to the Sunshine Coast. And so then, those people have to give it a try because maybe already some of those are moving back. And we have heard that, right? Because you're doing a podcast with Tony Broughton and there's been that conversation already of people moving back for whatever reason. But if part of it is the reasons of loneliness or not meeting people yet, you got to give it time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Val was more forward and she went out looking for friends, like looking for groups and all the rest. And I kind of am just a grump. And I'm like, oh, I'm good at home and I can do whatever. And it was not until like through work that I eventually kind of, clicked with a client and then kind of became friends and then, slowly become friends and then get introduced to his friend group. And it was, like probably before I really said I had a strong circle of friends, it was like, I'm sure 3 years for me. I was friendly with people before that, but not anybody I would have considered a friend.
Well, and the other thing about that, I don't know if I've ever sort of said it out loud, is that, I mean, it helps me too that you got other people to talk with, that you're not always like needing to vent fully on me. You can, go vent with buddies. And then it's a different perspective. And so then gives me a break too.
Yeah, no, it's good for everybody. It's good for me. It's good for you. All those things. Yes, I agree. And we were fortunate that we had each other. And I think that somebody that was maybe relocating for work and they're by themselves, could think it would be a really tough time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they just would have to kind of do what you did. Think of anything that kind of sort of interests them. Like when Val was in Edmonton, she played, she really liked volleyball. And I don't know that it had been for a little while, but at one point you did play soccer. And, you know, so she had different things going on in the evenings to go do. And then when she's coming here, she's looking for something, but there's no volleyball, and soccer was for kids, and just trying to find something.
I think there was soccer, but I wasn't at that level. And I think there was volleyball, but I just didn't find it. So instead I found badminton first.
I think there's in Sechelt now, I think there's like a summertime like beach volleyball thing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been a couple of years that we've all been living inside. So I don't know if that's back online yet or not, but I think there was that, but something kind of like year round or for the majority of the year. I don't know that there was at the time, but then, yeah, you found badminton, and that really, I noticed like an instant improvement in her going out and doing that. And also you're part of the paddle club, and you really like the paddle club, and you made lots of friends through the paddle club. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. The Gibson's Paddle Club. If you move out here, join it. We go canoeing in outrigger canoes. So they're 4-man and 6-man canoes. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people, and you can go at all different times, and you're out on the water for an hour and a half, however long you want to be. And you come back and you've been like visiting with friends and you've exercised. So you feel good all the way around. Oh yeah, that makes me think, because there is the Chamber of Commerce was one that we got to meet other business owners and gave us an opportunity to meet people there.
You know, that one, that was a little bit tougher for me, because I always felt like that everybody always wanted something.
Here's my
else.
business card. Here's my business card.
Yeah, and like that's what the chamber is for, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but like to really make like a connection there, if you're looking for friends, I don't know that that's one I would recommend.
I went to a meeting and I said, we kind of went around the table and said, what are you guys looking for? And I said, I want a hiking buddy. Nothing to do with work, nothing to do with like growing my business. I'm like, I want somebody I can go for a walk with every once in a while. And then, yeah, this one woman after the little meeting said, hey, call me up, text me. And so, yeah, that's been my hiking buddy since I've been here.
Yeah, there you go. Make friends in all kinds of fun places.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to have that angst about making friends when you get older. And like, it's not just us that talk about it. I think that's a pretty common complaint that people say as you get older, it's harder to make friends. And I feel like maybe there's baggage that you bring along from when you were a kid that like, oh, nobody's going to like me. They're going to laugh at me. They all have friends already and I'm not going to fit in. But I think the truth of it is that as you get older, people empathize with that. And they're, kind of quick to maybe not become, best friends with you, but that they're friendly with you. And they'll kind of give you like, I guess, like a tryout to see how you work out. And yeah, people want to connect. And I think especially in a little bit of a smaller community like this, people realize that, it's important to be welcoming. That was my experience here, is that as soon as I started kind of talking to different people, they're looking for reasons to be friendly with you and make friends with you, as opposed to in a bigger center where, they've got their friends, they've got work, and like, they don't have time for chit chat or small talk or whatever. I'm all friended up. I don't need any new friends.
Yeah. I got what I wanted.
If you've moved here to the coast and you find yourself a little bit lonely, then know that it's normal. That if you're making like even just a small effort will go a long way into, you'll get to meet more people. And, even like send us a message. Say, hey, I'm new. What do I do? Who do I connect with? And we can try and put you in touch with a group or, some kind of drop-in thing or something. And yeah, you'll make friends. Everybody here is friendly. They want to support you. They're open to making new friends and new connections. And so don't be shy about that. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video and maybe consider subscribing to the channel, as it really helps us out. And if you're into this kind of content, there's some more videos right here for you to watch now.